Water is a basic necessity for life, and for most people in the United States, it seems like the most obvious thing in the world. You just turn on the faucet and water flows. But in reality, that's not the case everywhere anymore, even in America. Across the world, and in many states across the US, droughts are getting more severe and water shortages more frequent. Every year, more communities find themselves depending on water trucks or bottled water, as wells and reservoirs run dry. This is no longer a problem reserved for remote villages in the developing world. It's a growing concern right here at home, from California to Texas, Arizona to Nevada. At the same time, new technologies are emerging that promise solutions we could barely imagine a decade ago. Right now, there are houses that can literally make their own drinking water straight out of the air. That's not a fantasy or a marketing gimmick. It's real, and it's already changing lives. There is a surprising amount of water in the air all around us, even if we can't see it. Air always contains some level of water vapor, day or night, summer or winter. For example, at 60% relative humidity and 77 degrees Fahrenheit, every cubic meter of air holds about 13 grams of water. Now multiply that by the sheer volume of air surrounding a house, and you're looking at dozens of liters of water potentially available. All you need is the right technology to tap into it. Scientists and engineers have been searching for ways to capture this invisible resource for decades, but only recently have practical, efficient home solutions become available. Today, atmospheric water generators, or AWGs, can be installed on your roof or in your utility room and start producing clean water almost instantly. The principle behind an atmospheric water generator is surprisingly straightforward. The device pulls in air from outside, cools it to the point where the water vapor condenses, exactly like dew forming on grass in the morning or the way your car windows fog up. This condensed water is then filtered, often through multiple stages, including activated carbon and ultraviolet disinfection, ensuring the water is completely safe for drinking and meets strict quality standards. Some advanced models even add minerals to improve taste and nutrition. The best part? Modern AWGs can be powered entirely by solar panels, requiring no connection to the electrical grid. This makes them ideal not just for remote cabins or off-grid communities, but for anyone who wants a reliable backup source of water in a changing climate. Across the world, and increasingly in the United States, you'll find homes, schools, clinics, and even entire neighborhoods relying on atmospheric water generators for their daily water needs. The most famous example is the Source Hydro Panel, which looks almost like a regular solar panel, but actually pulls water out of the air. Each panel can typically produce between 1 and 6 liters of drinking water per day, depending on the local humidity and sunlight. Larger setups can supply the needs of families, schools, or emergency shelters. Unlike traditional water systems, these units don't need plumbing, drilling, or any connection to the water grid. They are entirely self-contained, powered by the sun, and can deliver fresh water wherever you need it. The basic science isn't new. Air conditioners, dehumidifiers, and dryers all collect water through condensation, but in those devices, the water is just a byproduct, often discarded. Atmospheric water generators take this process further, using advanced filtration and disinfection to guarantee purity. In places where air pollution is a concern, the filtration stages are especially robust, so the final product is clean and safe to drink. In fact, in many cases, the water from an AWG is actually cleaner than tap water, since it hasn't traveled through miles of aging infrastructure and isn't exposed to industrial or agricultural contaminants. Other companies like WaterGen offer devices that can produce even more water, from 13 up to 27 liters per day for household models. These systems are already being deployed across the United States, the Middle East, Africa, and Australia, in areas where water is expensive, unreliable, or simply unavailable. The US military, disaster relief agencies, and rural communities are all turning to atmospheric water generators as a way to increase resilience and independence in a world where climate uncertainty is the new normal. Why does this matter? Because water scarcity is no longer an abstract issue. The American Southwest is in the grip of a multi-decade drought. Aquifers are being depleted faster than they can recharge, and tens of millions of Americans are at risk of water shortages in the coming years. Meanwhile, the air above us is an enormous renewable reservoir that most households don't even realize exists. AWGs represent a pathway to greater self-sufficiency, sustainability, and resilience. They can provide drinking water during emergencies, supply off-grid homes year-round, and help communities weather the increasingly unpredictable climate. Let's be clear, atmospheric water generation is not a silver bullet. There are limits. The technology works best in regions with moderate to high humidity and plenty of sunlight, which is why you'll find the highest performance in states like Florida, the Gulf Coast, or parts of California. In extremely arid or cold environments, production drops, but manufacturers are rapidly improving performance and efficiency. As with all new technologies, cost is still a barrier. A typical system can cost several $1,000s up front, but prices are gradually coming down as adoption increases. For many households and communities, especially those with unreliable or contaminated water supplies, it's an investment in security and health. If you add it all up, atmospheric water generators are no longer just a science experiment or a luxury for the rich. They're real, available, and making a difference right now. The water that was floating around your house this morning could be in your glass by this evening. Maybe one day, having a water generator on your roof will be as normal as solar panels or a home battery. It might sound futuristic, but in many places the future is already here. And in a country where reliable, clean water is becoming a question for millions, that's a change worth paying attention to. Subscribe us for more videos.